We left our daughter behind and watched helplessly as the toxic gas engulfed the room. This was not murder. It was the only way we could save her. I dragged my wife and climbed desperately upstairs, while the toxic gas spread rapidly beneath our feet. Watching the gas about to reach our ankles, we panicked completely. Fortunately, the elderly couple living on the top floor took us in. Even luckier, the toxic gas stopped spreading upward. I quickly grabbed the walkie-talkie and called for my daughter. The moment I heard her voice, my hanging heart finally settled. But before I could relax, a new trouble came. The entire city lost power, and the battery of my daughter's purification cabin wouldn't last through the night. I had to go down to replace it with a spare one. However, the staircase was filled with toxic gas. The round trip would take 20 minutes, and I simply couldn't hold my breath that long. At that moment, I suddenly remembered the patient downstairs had an oxygen tank at home. I took a deep breath and climbed along the pipe into the toxic gas. But when I broke the window and entered, I saw the patient downstairs, lying on the ground. My heart plummeted. I rummaged through the house anxiously, but couldn't find the oxygen tank. Just as my vision turned black and I was about to collapse, the moment oxygen filled my lungs, I regained my life. I successfully returned home and replaced the purification cabin with the spare battery. But this battery would only last one day. To save my daughter, I had to go downstairs to find more batteries. When I got to the street, there were fallen people everywhere. I quickly pressed my oxygen mask tightly. I approached and found it was a rescue team. But for the sake of my wife and daughter, I gritted my teeth and refused to evacuate. After learning the situation, the rescue team leader kindly gave me a set of equipment. Watching the rescue team leave, I knew we could only rely on ourselves to survive. So my wife and I decided to go to the laboratory to find protective suits. Only then could my sick daughter leave the purification cabin. We set off with the oxygen tank. We hadn't walked far when suddenly we were terrified and ran wildly all the way. The toxic gas blurred my vision, and I accidentally fell into the river. Fortunately, I finally met my wife at the laboratory gate. We successfully found the protective suits, but just as we turned around, the next second, there was only one oxygen tank left. I told my wife to take the protective suits and go home first. After she left, I climbed onto the roof and headed home. Passing by the rooftop, I actually found oxygen tanks and supplies. But